FBI Director James Comey dived into the topic of race relations during a speech at Georgetown University on Thursday. Comey says it's important for America to have the tough talk about an issue that many would rather ignore. Craig Boswell is in Washington, D.C. He has more details.
With the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, the death of Eric Garner in Staten Island, and the ongoing protests throughout the country, we are at a crossroads.
FBI Director James Comey says the country needs to keep up its dialogue about race relations and law enforcement. He says it's time all sides heard some hard truth.
Something happens to people in law enforcement.
Comey says officers can become cynical, and that can lead to a distrust of minorities, especially young black men.
We need to come to grips with the fact that this behavior complicates the relationship between the police and the communities they serve.
And he says racial biases can go both ways.
In some American communities, people view the police not as allies, but as antagonists, and think of them as someone not to be treated with gratitude and respect, but someone worthy of suspicion and distrust.
I was moved by Director Comey's remarks today.
Paul Butler is a former federal prosecutor and professor at Georgetown Law. He called Comey's speech historic.
For the FBI director to talk about the privilege of the white majority, unconscious racism, our history of discrimination, that's huge.
Butler and Comey agree race relations can improve if all sides keep talking. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Comey also suggests that officers spend less time in patrol cars, more time walking around the streets of the communities that they serve. He says it is time that law enforcement began collecting data on police-involved shootings so that we can understand the true magnitude of this problem.